Hello, everyone. Welcome. I am super happy to be here sharing this YouTube live with you. So this live stream is going on my channel, Mayara Healing Arts, and also on Rising Phoenix Aurora at the same time. So I first going to introduce myself, for you that if you don't know me, my name is Mayara. I am a quantum energy healer, holistic therapist, and I specialize in sacred sexuality. And I am here bringing, if you're here on my channel, I'm bringing a very special guest. I'm super happy, super honored to share her work with you and bring her here. That is my dear sister, AuroRa, and also my dear mentor, AuroRa. And yeah, I'm super happy because this is really an honor. AuroRa, she has and she's been helping me like so much in my journey. And there is that saying that whenever the students is right, whenever the student's ready, the teacher appears. And that's how I see AuroRa, because you have to be ready to even resonate in her frequency and find her, because her teachings are deep. And I'm super grateful to have found her. She's helping me remember a lot of things and activates my soul. So I'm gonna let her introduce herself. Thanks for being here, and yeah.
Greetings. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Mayara. It is such an honor to be here with you. I am AuroRa. Thank you for introducing me. I am the founder of A.U.R.A. Hypnosis Healing, and I am also the author, which I'll grab the book here. I'm the author of Galactic Soul History of the Universe, which is also available in Espanol, in Spanish, imprinted, and in ebook. So get that reflected. There you go.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, beautiful. So you can check that out. You can purchase that under Amazon. And what it is past life regression. It's the memory of the universe that has told she has told her story through all these different past life regressions, future life regressions, and it's such an honor to be here with you. So that's a little bit about me and who I am, and you can find my information under risingphoenixaurora.com, as well as my YouTube channel, Rising Phoenix Aurora. Yes, and then I know we also have some of our listeners here with us, and for those of you who don't know me, it is an honor to be talking to you. As Mayara mentioned, is that our teachings are very, very deep. They take you deeply into what requires healing, what is the significance of removing the inverted, what's artificial, what's not organic within us, and how to do so, and how to transcend out from it. So it has, our teachings are based upon that strongly. So when you're ready to remove, and you've done your work, and you've done all that you needed to do, you're ready to really start walking your most organic path. That's what we represent in our sacred teachings and courses. And I am so honored to be here with Mayara, because she's infinitely beautiful. Her heart is very pure, and she is, yes, learning the courses that we offer. But she is a great teacher herself, and it is a rarity to find such pure souls. So that she is, and just honored. So if you all have any questions, and you all know the routine on my YouTube channel, write question right before question, and then we'll go ahead and answer your questions. I have my friend and assistant Minnie keeping an eye on chat for you all. Okay, but yeah, you want to start it off, Mayara? I know you had.
Yeah, and the same, here my channel puts the questions there, writes question really big, and at the end of the chat, the stream, we're gonna answer some of your questions. So before we get into this conversation, and I know I love, talking about sacred sexuality and how it can help us in the spiritual ascension journey, I like to ask, because AuroRa is having a live retreat and certification next month. So are you still taking, we still have spots, are you still taking people for these retreats happening next month?
Yes, we actually do still have spots. available. We had the same. We teach aura hypnosis, how to remove again the inverted from people, whether that's a entity, whether that's a portal within people. Sometimes people have portals, and all these entities come in through those portals. Sometimes you have an implant or through your energy body. So we teach that how to become sovereign in releasing those inverted, and that's what I was speaking of. So we had lots of people sign up for the online workshop, but we still have, which is actually happening in a couple days. We do still have spots available for the live in person in Chicago in this beautiful mansion. It is 6,500 square feet worth of beauty and gardens, and love to see you there. It is a 5-day retreat that covers stay and food. You all will love it. And you learn how to weave out of the inverted matrix and how to transcend from it. I've had videos with Magenta Pixie, with Laura Eisenhower, where we talk about some of these different things, and then Adenan. So you can check out those videos. Those are available under my YouTube channel, so you can understand that further. But I know today we're really talking about sacred sexuality, sacred sex, and how to really use it for ascension. You can go to my website for more information on the retreat. Thank you for
thank you. Yeah, so I've my work with sacred sexuality started, I say, in this life, it started spontaneously, but I know it's part of my soul's journey, and I've been, it's really part of my soul's journey, this work. So I started on my personal healing journey and learning about my own traumas, my own blockages, and just going through that, process myself. I was a teenager, and I had, a lot of traumas and issues related to relationship and sexuality, but I did not know that this was going to be a big part of my teachings, what I share, my purpose. And I found, I experienced the benefits of this in my life and how it helped me to fully shift my life and how I go about my own self-worth even, but how it helped me with my energy, my energy to focus my energy into the, into things that were actually good things in my life, this powerful creative sexual energy. And how before I was just like leaking this energy out and bringing all kinds of issues into my life. So I learned to really, and I call that as well sexual energy transmutation. So if you're here in my channel, you're probably very familiar. I always share how, the sexual energy is is our creative life force energy. So when we learn how to channel it, we can bring this energy up the spine, and this energy is not only confined in the pelvis, into the second chakra. It's not just a little orgasm and that's it. We can actually channel this energy, and that's to help awaken our kundalini. That is this energy that will nurture as well our higher chakras. That is deep spiritual connection, our pituitary glands, our pineal glands. And we can just bring more, even spiritual guidance and awareness into our life. So this is how I feel sacred sexuality can help us a lot, and then how we get connected when we connect with our partner as well in the sacred sexuality. So I have some things here that I want to just see, ask your perspective, AuroRa, and I wrote here. So these are things that sometimes even my own clients ask me. I have my own ways to say that, but so it's like, what is sacred sexuality to you? How would you define sacred sexuality in a way? It's like, what is it different than regular sex? And what does it make sex sacred or not non-sacred? So I don't know if you want to jump in with that, and I can give my own perspective as well. Yeah.
First of all, before we go into that, I want to recognize that beautiful video you made where you were talking about how to use your own I am source of light and how to shield. So thank you for making that video. If you all haven't seen it on my YouTube channel, check it out. You're going to love it. The way that she put it together, she's a great teacher. So when are we going to start seeing this world as the quantum world that it is as far as energy? We have we have to be able to start seeing it in that manner, because when we start seeing it in that manner, then we understand that every exchange, even us speaking here, there's some type of energy communications that are occurring. So when you are, so what is a sacred, sacred sex? To me, sacred sex is the most powerful act on earth, and it is something that the angelics who I channel, as well as the benevolence that I channel, is that they teach me to teach others, as I also teach one class of that, sacred sex. But what they explain is that this is a time where, when you're having actual sacred sex versus casual sex, you are at the highest potence of ecstasy. When you're reaching this ecstasy and even orgasms or climaxing. So yeah, so I want to also say that if you probably don't want to be on here if you're not of age, okay? But we put it on our YouTube channel. But yes, okay? But don't have any kids listening right now. So it is frequencies that in a quantum world, you're reaching at the highest ecstasy that is basically you're able to connect to in this earth, in this 3D, but we're always in and out of the 3D, right, through consciousness. So what it literally does is that if you're having sacred sex, it completely shifts your consciousness, and it opens up your quantum energy, your energy body, your physical body as well. So all the energies that consist of you, it opens it up, and then you interchange that with your partner, whoever your partner is. So it is a time that also, it is also like birthing. It's the closest representation that we can have here to when I say a twin flame or soulmates, or specifically a twin flame, when twin flames split off one another, it is like that, because it's like they're coming into a union, and then they're becoming whole once more through this sacred act. So it is similar. This type of energy field is similar to when we're birthing and we're splitting off from one another when we're twin flames. So we're coming together, you understand? So it is. So you can imagine the power and the infinite beauty and divineness to when a soul splits and becomes twin flames. Okay, so because of that, and then they find themselves through the sacred act, they find themselves here in this lowest dimension of the third dimension. It completely shifts. It awakens them, and it shifts their consciousness, especially if they're intimately having sacred sex, where they're honoring each other, they're touching heart to heart, their hearts are beating one with each other, the skin, they're touching skin to skin, and they're feeling that infinite quantum frequency vibrate into one another. If you could imagine just energy, like this plasmic energy, that's what they become, like this plasmic infinite energy that is kissing, that is interchanging through the act of sacred sex, through intercourse, and then they're transforming, literal transformation, every time it happens. So if you're with a significant other that is also in love with you, the more the sex, the better. So because it will transform, and it will awaken the other partner that perhaps is not awakened, and it can literally be like an aura hypnosis. What we teach is it can help you remove some blockages, and so on. Now with that is that you still have to be safe, right? Because we teach both. Because if your partner has an entity, they can exchange that and give that to you. And then if they have, what we teach is through, we found out through the past life regressions, when people were Black, is that they had entities in them. And the majority of humanity, actually, at least the ones that seen me to remove this, well, if you think about it, it's in the water, it's in the chemtrails, like these. Also, these that they start inserting in the children, they're reptilian viruses, what they've always explained. So it's like a reptilian consciousness goes in and it clouds the mind. So if your person hasn't worked, your partner hasn't worked with this and removed some of these densities, they can actually give you a reptilian consciousness like this. It's basically, it's a piece of a reptilian. The reptilian is somewhere out there in the ether, and then they put a piece of themselves in you. when you're at your lowest vibration, when you're a matching vibration to their consciousness. But with that, we teach that there's both positive and negative to all races. So that can happen. Now, specifically though, it tends to very often happen is when you're not sacredly you're just having casual sex with a person that doesn't really mean infinite love for you. Because if a person doesn't mean infinite love for you, then they're going to be the opposite vibration of that, which would be an archonic vibration, a negative polarized vibration, or a negative entity vibration. Because if there's not infinite love, then you're going to get the opposite of that. And whatever my vibration matches to that. So that is another way a person can actually get an entity come in, through the mouth when they're kissing, just a kiss, a hug, it's just the things that we've come across that the higher selves, because we are just the facilitators, the interviewers, the higher selves tell us, and how people got some of these attachments, are through exchanges of energy like that.
Yeah. So thank you so much, because it's always beautiful, I feel, to hear, different perspectives, how other people explain certain things. And that's why I say we're helping each other remember. And, so that's beautiful because it connects dots. And so, yeah, a couple things that I like to share about, so sacred sex, as I view it, a few of the things is like, first, is being with someone that is of a matching vibration. So in many cases, this will be a twin flame, or it can be, soulmates in our life, but it's very important that this person is of a matching vibration. There are many beautiful souls in this planet. But, but through sex, we are co-creating, we are creating together. So the person, it needs to be of the matching frequency and also having similar intentions as well. So in that way, what we're creating is aligned and is not distorted, because we're always creating. And even Dr. Emoto, he does these experiments with water, right? So if you're telling the water, I love you, it creates these beautiful crystals. And if you're like, I hate you, creates this very distorted crystals in the water. So the same with sounds. Now that it's called cymatics or cymatic, that they can see the shape of sound shaping. That is actually scientific now, that they put sands on top of these flat surfaces and they put different music. And the different frequency of the music creates these beautiful patterns when it's like a beautiful high vibrational music. So we're always creating, but when it's a music that is, is negative, is full of hate, or their own frequency of this music, when it's made, it can create distortion. So those are things that a lot of people cannot see yet with their physical eyes. We can all get to the points that we can see, but we can feel, we can perceive in different ways, but science is catching up and is proving it. So it's the same with sex. If sex is coming, if there is no love, like AuroRa was saying, I had to experience that myself, and I remember once in a ceremony, I wasn't really aware of what was happening, but then it came clear to me that I had to purge and clear all the times that I had sex that it was not with love. Sometimes I was open to that person. Most of the times I was open, not every time that I was with someone that I was loving them and open, but they were not. And there were also times that I had as well sex that I was, casual sex as well, at times that I was not aware of it. So I had to literally purge. I could see and feel the whole pain and trauma that created in my body from having sex, even, for example, with someone that I love and I'm open to them, but they're not open to me. Sometimes, they like me, they would like me, this or that, but their hearts was not open for whatever trauma they had. So maybe they had fear of opening up. Maybe they had fear of commitment. Maybe they just didn't love me, or they were just in for the physical. So all of that created trauma in my body. My cells were traumatized, and I had to cry a lot and purge a lot. My cells were deeply traumatized from every time I let a man into my sacred space and they were not fully loving me. So that was huge trauma for me. And then, so I had to purge and clear all of that. So that's how I see for the difference of sacred sexuality and non-sacred, and what we are creating with the energy, right? Because if it's only lust without love, we are creating distortion in our life, in the person's life, and also the sex entities, the negative energy in general, but the entities. So I talk a lot about sexual energy cleanse, cleansing our sexual energy from the past, but then becoming aware to not keep doing the same things. And then I had someone, and that's when I want to share how you would answer this question. I had this question quite often. People ask me, maybe I know I would think they ask you these things too, but they're like, how is this proven, like that we can exchange, entities and negative energy? Is this proven? Where can I find proofs? Or is this only some hocus pocus? Like that's how they were asking me. So my answer is like, because I also had people telling me, for example, how is it? It's almost like, how am I going to believe that? How I know this is true? Like people can say whatever they want to say. How do I know that this is true? And I always tell people just, this is not something that is like how you read on a book and you believe. There is a path that we can all walk to open our third eye and our high sense perceptions. This is a path that we can walk and is available to anyone that want to walk this path. So in the beginning, you may listen to a teacher and you may have to feel resonate or not. But you can walk this path to open your third eye, and then you perceive and see in your own ways. So how do you answer this? If people ask, is this true? Is this hocus pocus fiction? Yeah. I cannot hear. Okay, let me unmute you because you were muted. Okay.
Sorry for that. So to answer the question is that what exactly would be hocus pocus? Can you repeat that again?
Yeah, they were asking me how they can. Where is the proof that we can exchange entities and negative energy through sex?
Okay.
Where can they find proof, or is this just some hocus pocus fiction that I'm just saying?
Yes.
Because I said that there wasn't a
well,
about sexual
data,
energy.
Yes, thank you. If you want data, I've in the last almost 4 years, I've seen over 3,000 people between my aura hypnosis sessions, my students that learned the technique as well. And then also I teach raw Reiki, which also learns how to do that. So readings and all that. So all the combination of all of the people that I've seen, the data is there. It's actually, you can watch, there's videos in my YouTube channel that have those sessions. And I can't tell you which one because there is over 150 where people share their actual video where they went in and their higher self talked about it. But so this is really serious because what happens is that when you do have an entity attached, it can at times cause illnesses, blockages of energy, because you can envision like people have had implants even come in through the sacral. There's, with the hybridization program, there's, people being abducted and their sacral area constantly being harvested and they don't even know. I was going through a neighborhood once. As I go through neighborhoods and, Archangel Michael, who I speak to, was like, the majority, I was like, what's going on with these people? They're so dense. And they said, well, the majority of them have become abducted and they're doing all sorts of experiments on them. So this is what we teach. So people remember their memories. They feel like something happened to them, but they can't remember. And then the higher self, their soul reminds them. So we have a lot of data. If you want proof, that you can get on both of those platforms there. Hold on, let me see if there's anything else I want to add to that. So if you just think about it, though, think about it for a minute, especially, so there's typically some kind of penetration, whether it's, guy on guy or girl on girl or girl on guy. There's a penetration. So at that point, you're actually letting that person into your body, into your physical body and your energy body. So it is, I think, irresponsible to think that you're allowing someone to penetrate you, to think that there's not kind of an energy exchange. And if that person's not penetrating you with infinite love, again, that penetration will match the lower vibrational intent. Okay. And I wanted to add to that is that you had mentioned about the frequency and how water carries the frequency of whatever it is that you emit. So you could think of it that way. because that's an exchange of energy, and there. So whoever you're interchanging, whoever you're having intercourse with, if they're not a nice person, some of these people, I'll be honest with you all, are reptilians in human bodies. So if you're having an exchange with a archonic person, a person that's wired, that has, well, you're going to want to know what an archon is. It's basically the embodiment of AI that is, we see it right now happening. Okay, so you can watch my YouTube channel, and actually it goes through the history of that in my book. So that would be a long thing to explain, but what I can tell you is that they're AI, they're soulless, they're not entities, they're not even entities, they're just soulless AI intelligence that they're the reasons why there's the Illuminati and all these dark things. Basically, they're the puppets, they're the puppeteers to the puppets. Okay. Again, we go in depth in my YouTube channel with that, with the inverted matrix. So when you're having this type of, say, this person has a lot of negativity within them, that's what you're going to be allowing to come into you, because through the quantum world, everything's energy. So you would be allowing that energy to insert into you, and then you become part of it. So it could either fuse into you, it can integrate into you, it can attach into you as an entity or whatever it is. However your body will intake it, but it's coming in, okay? Because you are consenting to it, right? Because when you're having intercourse with someone, you're consenting to them to penetrate your energy. So, yeah, I wanted to add that. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I also have here on my YouTube channel, if you go to the playlists, right on the homepage, if you go to the playlists, I put a video, AuroRa's video, that explaining what are archons, and also some other videos there from AuroRa's channel. So it's right on the playlist, right on the homepage. And yeah, so maybe we can go to some other questions, so then we can keep going on the conversation. I saw that there are many questions here. Yeah.
Thank you. I'll go ahead. You have them, right? You have them too.
Yeah, I do. Go ahead. So the first one, someone asked, how do we utilize sacred sexuality for ascension? You want to go jump on that? Good jump.
Yes. Okay. So you could envision your consciousness, who you are, as okay. So in order for you to come into the 3D, you need to be a matching vibration to the 3D. Okay. So say you came in the 80s, you know, when I came, or I'm not sure when you came in, Mayara. So the earlier you came, the denser the world was. So if you came in the 60s, in the 40s, or whenever you came in, the earth was denser. The more farther along you go back in Earth's history, it is denser. So if you came in then, you had to go through a process where you had to be a matching vibration to the mother. So what happens sometimes is you see that mothers can't carry children. It's because the child is not a matching vibration to the mother. In other words, the mother is too dense to carry the child is too light. They need to be matching vibration. Okay. So, and then I just forgot your question.
Yeah, how we can use the sacred sexuality for ascension.
Yes. So first of all, that's what the soul has to go through. So every year that you're alive, every day that you wake up, you take off layers and layers of density, where you become lighter and lighter and lighter. And as you continue to raise your vibration, then we are here in this time and space because we delayered all of this. When we accepted to come in and birth, say, to a negative polarized families, we also transmuted and healed the earth at the same time. So as we transmuted the earth and lifted our own vibration by being in families that were very negative polarized, so did we raise the collective's vibration. So with that is that if you've done your work, and how you can use this is by working with how that understanding that I explained, that's how you could use your sexuality, because every time you do it, you can lift a layer and remove a layer and transmute it. You can use different energy as you're doing sacred sex. Like you can ignite yourself on fire so that it can transmute your energy or your partner's energy, and it just be literal fire. Like, you know, like if you watch X-Men, Jean Grey, she goes on fire like a phoenix. You could use that very powerful tool, an eternal flame that can shift consciousness. So there's many different alchemies that you could be using to help in your shifting of ascension. So because every time you do this act, you tap into this vibration. And just like you worked from when you were born, whatever year you were born, and you're all the way here and you're shifting your consciousness, you can do that intimately, even deeper and stronger. Because every time it's like a climbing of the ladder. You have, you know, sacred sex, and then you just lifted your vibration. Again, you have another infinite love, orgasmic, you know, plasmic interchange with your partner. Again, you lift and lift and lift. So that is how you can use ascension in releasing the negativity around you.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's just like every single time that we have non-sacred sex, meaning unconscious sex, distorted sex, so if someone that is not like, you know, someone that you don't fully deeply love, and if they don't fully deeply love you, if the intentions are not in alignment, if, you know, the person's is not a matching frequency, for example, if you are taking care of your diet, your lifestyle, your healing journey, but then the person is not. So every time you have the non-sacred disorder or, you know, sex, then you lower your vibration. So ascension will become harder and harder. You're receiving, you know, this negative density, entities, all kinds of things. But every time you do sacred sex, now, you know, that's out of the picture, because you have someone that is in alignment with you. You are, you know, your intentions are in alignment. That is deep love. And now what you are, because sex is, we always create, and the energy of orgasm is the amplification of the creative energy that we have. So we create a baby, and we are always creating, even with our thoughts, but with an orgasm, we are amplifying that. So if you, the energies of pure love, and you set that intention as well, every time what you're creating together is just pure magic and beautiful things, whatever is the intention that you want to create. It may just be for the love in your relationships to always flourish. And you always raise your vibration. It may be you putting an intention as well to gain guidance on your purpose, on your work, and how you can help. It can be for healing, and or even just bringing more of the ecstasy, blissful vibration to the planets. The more couples, you know, twin flame couples or, you know, soulmates have sacred sex, the more they bring this blissful energy to the planets, the more we amplify. Like in the planets, imagine like each person here, we are a little instruments, and all these instruments is making the entire symphony of planet Earth. So the more people here are in low vibration, they're more like out of tune instruments, making this symphony being very distorted, not nice to hear, right? And the more we're like vibrating high, and the more we are aligned, and the more we are sharing this blissful ecstasy love frequency, the more we raise the consciousness of ourselves, but the entire planet, the more other people can tap into it too. So you're not only helping yourself, you're helping the planet as well through that.
I love that. I love the frequency. Yes, that's exactly how it is, because creation itself is sound. So that's a beautiful way to explain that.
Yeah. So let's see the other questions. Let me see the next one. Oh yeah, important one too. Is this something that we partake in solo, or as a couple, or both?
What do you think, Mayara? I'll let you answer that first.
Yeah, so I always say, you know, solo, there is only so much we can do solo, you know, if we're talking about sexuality, but there is a lot we can do solo. So for example, what I share here is that most of us in the current society, you know, we first need to learn, like I teach a lot of like celibacy and no masturbating for some time to gain more mastery of our sexual energy. Not that is something wrong with masturbating. I always share that But most people, we masturbate unconsciously. We are addicted. Many people are addicted to pornography, addicted to masturbation, or even if it's not through pornography, sometimes people are using masturbation as a way of escaping whatever they need to face, escaping boredom, loneliness, traumas. Masturbation can be escapism or another coping mechanism, or just a plain addiction, unconscious. So first we get or even sometimes even people have shame and trauma, it depends on their religions, and they're just fully disconnected. So either people are over abusing their sexual energy or they're fully repressing their sexual energy. So first we need to take care of that. So in this case, I always share, we gain control, mastery of our sexual energy. We can be without masturbating, it's not a big deal. We can be without having sex, it's not a big deal. Once we're in that place of mastery, that our sexual instincts are not gonna dictate our actions. We're not gonna have to go for a booty call or for the porn just because your sexual instincts, you don't have control over it, they're controlling you. First we get to that place. And then after we get to that place, so in this stage, what we are doing is we are channeling our sexual energy into other areas of our life. So we can be channeling your sexual energy into your purpose, into your business, into your creative projects. So that's a way that you're using your sexual energy in different ways that is not just through sex or masturbation or, So you channel your sexual energy. Now, when if you are in that place that is not a big deal for you, you don't have to have sex. It's like if you have sex, it's beautiful. But if you're single, it's beautiful as well. Then you may use, masturbation can be as well a way through your own orgasm that you can tap into this blissful energy. Then you can also connect with, like the same thing, you're amplifying the creative energy. So you can, through masturbating and orgasming, you can also be aware of what you're creating, your intentions, what you're amplifying and channeling the energy through your body. But there's a very fine line there. And that's why I feel most people are not ready. Most people have to first take care of their sexual out of control instincts, So it's not like I'm just going to masturbate and just enlighten through that, because it's always the intention, right? Where is your intention coming from? If you're single, you want to masturbate. Are you masturbating because you're lonely, because you're bored, because or you're going for the booty call for the same reason? What is your intention before you masturbate? What is your state of being, state of mind? Is this just pure love and appreciation for yourself? What is the big deal, if you don't have sex, if you don't masturbate, is that a big deal for you? So that's how I say. So in that case, you can do that being single. But now, real sex, we do with a partner, right? So then when you attract a partner in your life, then you can take it to the next level and really experience sacred sex. Because in my vocabulary, when I talk about sex, I usually feel that we do something we do with somebody else, sex. I feel like masturbation can be solo, but sex we do with somebody else. A lot of people, they're like, I want to learn how to have full body orgasms, but they're single. So I always say there is only so much you can do while you are single. And then you're going to take care of yourself to attract a partner that is in the same frequency. So you become the best version of yourself, and you become the reflection of that you want to attract in your life. And then whenever that happens, and then you can go deeper into sacred sex with your partner. So just, to finish up, like these parts in my life, I've been single for some time. And I learned to gain the mastery of my sexual energy. So what I'm creating now in my work and I'm so focused, and I have so much energy, and I exercise, and I work, and I love it. It's not something hard. I just put all this energy into this, and that's why I feel like my business has been growing, and I've been having more of this creative energy, and because I'm not just wasting, it's like, when is he gonna call me? When before I would feel bored, on the weekends, I would wish I had someone. Nowadays, I never feel bored, I never feel bored. Sometimes I'm tired, I rest, but I never feel bored or feel like I wish I had someone. I feel it would be beautiful to have someone, but yeah.
Beautiful. Yes. This process of ascension is also falling in love with ourselves. So sometimes we don't, people don't meet their union, sacred union, because they first need to fall in love with themselves. And then once they're that matching vibration of self-love, of infinite self-love, then the matching vibration will come to that as a partner, right? That will infinitely love them as they love themselves. So, yes, and I wanted to add to what you said was that there is many different ways that you know how you mentioned. So basically, if you look at it in an energetic point of view, you know, you could do it solo, you could do it together, and yes, and too much of something, if you're just, you know, masturbating with no intention and really no love with it, then that's an imbalance. There's too much of something is an imbalance. You want to balance that out. But this is there's a beautiful way that you can use your creational energy if you're solo. You know, you can have sacred sex. Though first you have to shield. We teach you want to shield yourself before you either set that intention, or you could just flow with it as well. If you have a divine partner we all have divine partners, because some of these twin flame teachings are quite inaccurate. We all have a partner. The reason why is because this creation is actually based off duality in itself and in a most organic form. So where there is a female, there is a male. But some, though alien races, are, as we travel through the universe, are both in one body. Okay, so there's some of them actually just create from inside of themselves, kind of like, I think, is that a seahorse, or I can't remember what it is. But yeah, so when you are so then you understand that this energy within you, it does need to release. So you can sacredly have sacred sex energetically with your sacred partner that perhaps you have yet to meet. But first, again, you have to shield with your I am source love light, like we teach, because you want to ensure that that's a matching vibration. Because you don't want to have, because if you're not shielding and you're not raising a vibration high enough, actually a parasitic or a succubus, an entity, can then answer that call because you're not that matching vibration. So you definitely don't want to be having, you know, sex. And I've had sessions with people who have succubus in them, and they're draining their creational energy, and they're controlled by and addicted to this succubus entity. So if you set your intentions, you know, light a candle, perhaps meditate right before you can, and then have sacred sex, say, in the energetic womb space of both you and your twin flames. It's the sacred womb space where you're both were created from. So in this sacred womb space, you can have sacred sex with one another energetically, okay? And then when you do that, it will shift your consciousness here, because whatever you do there will change here physically. Sometimes the physical takes longer, but the energy is there. You can do that. So the way the creational energy is, like Mayara was saying, is that, you know, it's like you need to constantly keep moving the flow. Okay, like we teach is, you know, creation is like ever moving motion water. Does the water ever stand still? Never, right? Never. Water itself travels and through all over Earth, but it never stands still. So it's ever moving motion. And this is what creation is. So you need to keep flowing your energies within your creational energy. You can have orgasms as you're sleeping as well. You can set an intention. Like, I feel really, because what happens is that if you block that and you don't allow those orgasms to come out, sometimes they kind of become stuck. And then you don't feel creating, like you don't feel creativity. You don't feel like you can create, because that's actually the root, the funnel of creation itself, because that is how we create, right? Don't we birth children through that? We create all that we create is coming from that major funnel. Now, of course, there's other chakras and other points that we help with. So then if you haven't, for example, released that energy there that's blocked for whatever reason, you want to intentionally release it out like a wave, you know, like water, a wave.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, and it's really, the intention is everything, right? The intention is everything for in life. So you become aware, you know, of your own, where you are at, and you work on whatever you need to work on. So you are in this place of pure love, and from that place, there is nothing wrong, because I see that too. That people, they want to start doing like no masturbation and all, and then if they masturbate and they orgasm, they feel guilt. And that's like, we don't have to go extremes, guilt or overdoing. We find the middle, the balance, and the full appreciation. And this, what you shared, Aurora, about having sacred sex and the etheric level, the same thing I share, in my course for my students, that they can do, because I share partner meditations to do with our partner, to prepare for sex, or just to help us just align our energies. And I share the same, because that's something that I've been doing for a while. We can, if you are single, it's the same. You call your twin flames higher self, always shielding, always, but you call in your twin flame higher self. And then you do the same meditations with them. And as you do that, it's like if they're in front of you and you're meditating together, or you're just connecting heart to heart, or merging chakras. And the more, if you want to call in, a soulmate or your twin flame in your life, then you just calling that in through that. You meditate with them at least once a week, a couple times a week. And in that way, you start bringing the energy into your life, and so it can manifest in your life whenever is divinely aligned, because the stars have to align as well. And I know in my journey, many times I was thinking I was ready, and then I kept always seeing, it's like, oh, okay, actually I was not ready. I had to learn all of this. Yeah, I had to. So it's like whenever it's divinely aligned, it will happen. Yeah. I don't know if you want to share anything else about it, but also going to look into the questions.
You can move on.
Yeah, and this is a great question here. How do you purge from such lovers who are not coming from pure love intention? I don't know if you want to start, or I start.
You can start.
Yeah. So I share, I have actually a video here, a recent video that I posted, how to cleanse your aura from your sexual pests. So I learned 2 different ways. So one of the ways is like a general sexual cleanse, and that's the one I shared here. A general, I mean that you're going to cleanse from everybody. You're going to tap in, and you're going to, for all the ones you remember, it takes intention. I write down the name. I guide you through in this video. Write down the names, everyone that you remember. And if there were people you don't remember and things like that, you're calling the energy and the time in your life too. So you will do as a ritual, and you're going to definitely choose, like I shared that too before. You're calling in Archangel Michael, you're using the fire, and you're going to cleanse all the energy. This is one process. But that will be the people that were maybe more recent, more meaningful, and those are the ones that you actually created energy cords with them. And in that case, I have a guided meditation on my site, on my websites. I teach them on my courses. I saw AuroRa also has it. I think on YouTube you have as well about clearing cords. But in that case, you want to remove or cut the cords with them. And you have to go through each one that were more like recent or more meaningful. And I say, even if it was not toxic, even if it was like you had a beautiful relationship, but it ended. It ended, time, this is over, you moved on, you love them, they love you, but it ended. You will still want to remove those cords so you don't bring that to your new relationship, And so removing cords doesn't mean only for toxic relationship, but it's very important. But more important than that is that after you do these cleanses, that you really learn to not keep acting unconsciously, and not keeping just having casual unconscious sex, because it's almost like if you overeat and you keep doing a liposuction, and you overeat and you do a liposuction, you're not really helping yourself in that way. So you have to do the cleansing, but from that place of mind that you're ready to, now you take care of yourself in a different way, now that now that you are aware. So yeah.
Yes. So very good point, Mayara. So deleting, erasing, transmuting. Mm-hmm. So what you're doing with that relationship is important. You cut cords, because that's one of the major things I said. When we scan cords, they're like, the majority of the time they have a negative cord attached to their ex. And then their ex, this whole time since they broke up, has been draining energy, has been feeding them dark energy, has been inserting, whatever entities or whatever they're inserting through that cord that they have. So it's important that once you're done with that relationship, it's done. You delete, you erase, you move on, and you can talk through sacred ceremony, through lighting a fire. We teach that a lot. The fire itself is source. So when you light a fire, a candle, you're talking to literally source. So if you want to transmute and cut cords with someone who you're done with, it's important that we don't leave things hanging around, because when we leave things hanging around, like a relationship, and we don't remove all that was connected and tied to that relationship, that negative energy can linger, whether it's negative or okay, it's still lingering. It stays attached in forms. It stays stuck in time and space through the quantum world. So you want to go through that process, just like Mayara said. Really, really important. That's actually extremely important, because it keeps you otherwise heavy, clouded, and then they could keep influencing your time.
Yeah, we stay stuck in the same patterns, right? I see, because even if you move on to a different person, but then you still in the same pattern, so you just may change the person, but it's still the same energy, the same dynamic, same pattern. Or sometimes it may be the partner that is hard to move on from, that you keep going back to it, and you keep hard to, if you want to move on, it's not good for you, but you feel that you can't move on. That's a sign, So yeah, watch my video. I guide you through this general cleanse, and you write their names in a paper. You call their higher selves. First you protect yourself. You get your own higher self, your spirit guides. The archangels you connect with. Archangel Michael is a great one for that. And then you do the process where you set your intentions, and then you're gonna burn the paper. And then you do the cleansing in yourself, and then you fill up that space with a new loving energy, the space you cleanse. And then the ones that you have cords with, and then you do specifically only with them. Remove it. There can be many cords with one person, not only the second chakra. You can have cords in your hearts, in your mind, in your third eye. You can have different cords with them. So you go through it, and it may be that you may need to redo the process if you feel that you're going back. Another thing that can happen happen with many people. Sometimes you remove a cord, and then that person, they start feeling it, and they start looking for you and start messaging you. And that's why you like to stay strong, because they feel like, oh, my supply, she's cutting off the supply. And then they're going to try, to get back to you. So you have to be very aware.
Yes, I've had literal sessions where they just cut cords with the spouse right that second, the ex-spouse. And then in that second, they're getting that call from that spouse, because they know. So they don't consciously know, but unconsciously they know. They can feel that pull. What do you mean? You're my light. You're what's providing this light. And the creational energy is the most powerful way to create. So this whole time, they can be draining your creational light, your creational energy, and they're creating for themselves from your creational light. So that's why it's important, even not just through, a sex relationship, through any relationship. Once it's over, you cut, you burn pictures. I don't know, whatever you do is because otherwise everything that holds memory from them will hold that memory there. So it's important what you have within your home. It's yours. It's your energetic frequency, and not others. Once you've done that relationship in whatever form.
Yeah, very important, even if it's not sexual. Definitely. And let me see. Oh, so I mentioned that how to call in a sacred partner. I would say, I can even say it again, and then I'm even going to let AuroRa say what she has to say as well. But so how to call in a sacred partner, you can do these meditations, where you set your intentions. So in any meditation, you want to shield, and something I learned through AuroRa, to shield every single day, definitely before you go into this meditation, putting yourself in the theta brainwave. So then you call your higher self, your spirit guides, and all of that, and then you call your twin flames higher self. We all have a twin flame, and there may be cases I feel that the twin flame may not be incarnated on this life as well, but you still can have a soulmate. So you call in, your twin flames higher self. You set your intention. You can meditate with them a few times a week, You can visualize them sitting in front of you, energetically meditating, and you start creating a blueprint, an energetic blueprints. So you may want to write down as well on the paper, and or even just through meditation, you create the energetic blueprints. So when I say a blueprint, it's best to not be attached to a specific person. And so you just connect with the energy. Like you can visualize you in this beautiful loving union, whatever it means to you. You can visualize the qualities you like to have, your partner to have, the things you do together. You can visualize you living that life. You riding bicycle together, you're at the beach together, sleeping together, you're having sacred love. You can visualize all of that as a blueprint, and also just meditating with their higher self energetically. Those are some ways that you can call in, and you can write down as well these intentions in a way that is already here. Like, I love having a partner, a sacred partner in my life. It feels so good to feel loved and seen and appreciated by my partner. All of that things, writing like is already a reality. Writing a letter of appreciation. I love, this, and that. A relationship that is like this, and that. I appreciate this, and that. And you meditate on it, you visualize it. And also you have patience and knowing that, again, the stars have to align for that to manifest. Do you have anything to share about that?
Yes, that is beautiful. So with that is I want to say is that like we explained earlier, because there's that, that the female and the male. Now, it's important that a lot of what you might hear is that you will hear from different teachings is that they say not everyone, of course, will have a twin flame here, but the truth is that you can manifest it, just like Mayara said. You can manifest it. You might know this person for 20 years, and all of a sudden they might have an integration. And that shifted their consciousnesses. Oh my goodness, now you're looking at them a little bit different. You're like, there's something different about you. Oh my goodness, you're my twin flame now. So that happens because we're constantly shifting in consciousness. We're integrating parts of us. We're becoming whole and whole, just like we explained at the beginning how we're born and we go through that lifting up, right? So as we remember these different organic parts of us, and I say organic because there are also things that could pretend that they're negative entities. They could pretend they're like, yeah, I'm a fractal of you, let me integrate into you. And then you accidentally integrate. Like a gray, you integrate a negative entity into you. So being very selective on what you allow. So as you're regaining these parts of you back in, it's important that you understand that there is another you, because you're an infinite consciousness. There is another side of you. There is. So whether in whatever form that is, there is a counter to you, because this universe is exactly that, a counter. Okay, so to know infinite love, sometimes you need to have the lack of infinite love to know the infinite love, the white, the the black and the dark. How we create. I think Laura Eisenhower says this is how we the light impregnates the dark, which I love that. So this is how the universe works in a most organic form. I'm not speaking of the negative polarized form. So when then you understand that, then you understand that yes, there is a counterpartner of you, partner of you that completes you. Okay. Now some people can be both in one body too. I've seen that. So just understanding and trying to figure out who you are and what parts of you have of you. Okay. The reason why the twin flame union is so negative polarized and compromised is because they don't want twin flame unions to get together, because they heal the earth and they heal themselves and they regain memory. And the more that those twin flame partners regain those memories, then they also regain that same memory. You can say downloads into the earth, and then it makes it available and accessible for others to also regain that memory in whichever form that it is for them, organic. So manifest it, believe it. But like Mayara said, believe it, manifest it, but don't hold on to it and be like, when am I going to get them? Then it's not going to happen. You need to both be in both worlds, where you manifest them and you believe that they're there. You talk to them. If energetically, you can meditate. You can talk to their higher self. So you believe it, but then you also completely in surrender. You don't hold on to it. So something that teaches love all, attached to none. So don't have an attachment to anything in this world. Okay, so that is a form of attachment. If you really are, being stuck in that I wanted to inflate. You compare yourself to others. It will meant to be. It shall be as it's meant to be organically for your blueprint.
Yeah, and with the twin flame, because there was, there's been a lot of infringements on these teachings and on the spiritual community, and a lot of distortions as well. So I always, I share a lot of my own experience, and I always say I don't know everything. I'm also learning and going through it, and I also don't know everything. But what I see a lot, and I had to go through my own lessons as well in the community, in the spiritual community. Sometimes whoever is more spiritually awake, they're like, oh, I recognize my twin flame. I know I met my twin flame. But then sometimes people can be for years waiting for that twin flame, but sometimes the twin flame is very toxic and they don't want to wake up, or but they still thinking that's my twin flame. So in my view, now the way that's what I'm saying, out of my own view, I feel like that there are an infinite amount of ways how things can manifest. I don't feel that it would be only one way for you to manifest, or for us to manifest a twin flame union. So I feel like it's important to be open-minded. How is the twin flame? Our twin flame is really is our soul, right? Is a part of our soul, the dynamic masculine and feminine aspects. So that's the true twin flame. And then as here we are a fractal of our higher self. Is a fractal of our higher self. So I like our artist was saying how we can just something changes sometimes. The person has an integration, something changed about them. So that's mostly a question even that I even have, because might as well. And I see a lot of people, they ask me that too. So what if the person that they knew they were twin flame, it doesn't want to wake, doesn't want to, that they saw that is my twin flame, but they don't want to wake, they chose the dark path, whatever reason. So do you feel that the twin flame can manifest, the higher self can walk in the different body, or can be activated? How do you feel that this would work?
Yeah, so the different people can have multiple twin flames. I once was talking to Jesus fractal, and they said he has 5 twin flames, and I was like, what? Why? And they said because they're going to choose who they want to end up with. So every twin flame had a different learning experience for them until they get to the right matching twin flame. So that can happen. You just have to work with it organically, not stay stuck again to one twin flame. Some people meet their twin flame and then they become so engrossed and stuck and attached to them. But yeah, like you said, they're not the highest vibration. Sometimes you're just meant to meet that twin flame for that reason, and then you move on. But everything can change. And even like Jesus and Magdalene, for example, they were that enlightened. Jesus was that enlightened because through sacred sex, he actually regained a lot of his memory, his abilities through sacred sex with Mary Magdalene. So understanding that point of view is really important, because that is how you shift consciousness, constantly lifting and lifting, which we've talked about. But yeah, all is possible. There's many different ways. You are the creator of your path. And then also your twin flame would be the creator of their own path. So when you are a matching creator path of one another is when this can manifest. And yes, sometimes that can be challenging because, so think about it. You here, there's not just you here. There's not just one, say, AuroRa. There's not just one Mayara. There's actually many of us on Earth that are working different fractals of one another. This person, maybe, Mayara, maybe you have a person in Africa, maybe you have another person in Jerusalem, and they're all working through different phases. So Just like that, you can have that many twin flames that can become potential twin flame unions through different stages of your life and the type of vibration and frequency that you may be in.
Yeah, yeah, and it's all like the, I study a lot like quantum manifestation, quantum reality, and it's like and the different timelines. So according to quantum teachings, all the realities are happening simultaneously. All the realities are happening at the same time. So it's like, and there are different possibilities when we look into the future. We want to say a future, there are many different possibilities, and there are the ones that have a most probability, that have more charge, that this timeline will happen or that timeline, and there will be other timelines that is just less probability. But just because something is a potential, is a big potential, high probability, sometimes timelines change. So maybe that person also has their free will, so they have to as well align with, like, they have to align as well with their free will as well for that potential, even if it's a beautiful thing. And if they don't, there may be other, the same quality, high quality potentials and opportunities. It's not just one. You're not doomed if that person is choosing a different path. That's how I feel, because it would be so unfair. Like,
Exactly. Yeah. Through this existence here on Earth, like a kaleidoscope, because really creation in the universe is like this different perspectives of energy and frequency are shifting. So like a kaleidoscope, when you view it, there's all these different shapes. Yeah. So your timelines are like a kaleidoscope, always shifting and changing. So yes, maybe at one point in time this twin flame was your match, but now they made a choice that perhaps not allow for them to be a matching vibration to you, and then time and space. However, but there's another twin flame that can then come. So that's the best way we can explain that.
So, yeah, and how are you with time? Do you have time for a few more questions? We are here for
a couple more questions. Answer them.
Yeah. So one question I feel is important. As a healer, I have came across several clients that were sexually abused by other service to self dark workers in the name of aiding these souls with ascension. Oh wow, I didn't even see all of that. Activating their chakras, etc. I've seen that. How can such souls heal from their trauma and infringements? So I don't know if you understood. Maybe I'll even go, as a healer, I have come across several clients that were sexually abused by other service to self dark workers in the name of aiding their souls with ascension or activating their chakras. How can such souls heal from their traumas and infringements?
Yes.
Yeah.
I come across that all the time.
Yeah.
Really. Where so they're light workers, they claim they're light workers, but we talk about this actually in our recent video, which is pretty intense. Get ready if you're going to watch it. It's on my Vimeo account. It's what is it called? It's called the Greys and the Maxine timeline, the Matrix. So you can watch that under my Vimeo. You can find the link under my YouTube. But we explain how the same workers are here. So the ones excuse me, they're lawn mowing next door. So hopefully it's not. But they are the same. The ones that fell, that were the cause, were the reason, that fell for the archonic entity control, where they wanted ego and power, and then they compromised, and the entire civilization of the Atlantis fell because they were doing these abomination experiments on souls, on all these different things. You can find more information on my YouTube channel. So those same ones are here, the ones that fell for the archons. Now they have choices. Are they going to evolve and not become that same supposed light worker, but they're dark workers? Or are they going to rise out from it and then become the light that they were supposed to be to begin with, before they became compromised and tricked by these archon AI intelligence? Because it's like a plague. Once you accept it in, it comes in and it clouds your mind, it controls your thoughts. And this was something artificial, not part of our universe. of our organic balance, they came in and they infringed through our universe. Okay, so those dark workers are in the position and they're pretending that they are light workers and they're not. So when you're coming across, so that's really hard because they also will have like this technology around them by their archon connection or their negative polarized entities, whether it's a reptilian. So have technology around them that will make them look like they're positive, and you will not be able to know. So we found a lot of attachments through people who I've seen it even myself at events, but like there'll be a speaker that's speaking and they're archonic. They have tentacles, basically. It's like archons are like spiders and tentacles they have going through the speaker. And the speaker, whoever's like, oh, wow, like they're really loving their information. They're placing this person on a pedestal, perhaps. They're allowing, they're consenting this information that they're being given. I've seen how this speaker can actually just, with those tentacles attached to the persons, and they love to go for the sacral. They infatuated, addicted. It's like a drug, and they attach into the sacral energy. So yes, we have clients who have received infringements through their sacral, through energy, work by supposedly a good light worker that actually was dark, that are just harvesting their energy, their light, their creational energy for their creational purposes. There's people that you can listen to that are like constantly like they're making you feel bad for them. Watch out for those, because that is a form. The minute you feel bad for them, they're harvesting your energy as well. So there's many forms that they can harvest your energy. One more example. I remember I was at my beginning stages. I went to this retreat, and all of a sudden there's this male that came in. He looked very sharp. His hair was really done, and he looked, like he took a lot of time to prepare himself. When he came in, all the women all of a sudden were like, ooh. And all of a sudden, I'm very, I have my beautiful partner. However, I noticed that my sacral energy was becoming aroused to this man that was carrying a man bag that I normally would not be attracted to. So I'm like, what is going on here? So of course I amplify my shields, and I'm like, this is disgusting. Don't infringe upon my creational energy. And then I saw that this being that was supposedly again, like someone that people were like, oh, you know people, and in the spiritual community, and so on. What he was doing is actually, he was talking about how he creates with the 111, and he uses it, though, inverted. So what he does is actually, when he's in presence of women, he attaches tentacles into them and drains their light. Now, those tentacles can stay stuck into their sacral, or he can pull back. I'm not sure, whatever they want to do with that, whether they keep it pierced or unpenetrated, penetrated or unpenetrated. And then they can drain their creational energy. And this is how this being would create everything for themselves in a form of physical, like they wanted, name brand stuff, all these different things, because they were using other, especially females, creational energy, because we are the most creational, are powerful in creation because we birth children, right? So, and then we also have, we talk about how Divine Mother actually created Divine Father from within her womb, because she has the womb, which you can find more information about that. So yeah, I can talk about this topic a very long time, but there's a couple different examples I just gave you.
And then for healing, I can even say a couple things, and if you have any, but so if for healing these kinds of things, entity that were the entity attachments, implants, artificial intelligence, that not only through sexuality, sometimes they even through certain medical procedures, those things that are implanted in our body, all this kind of stuff. Even sometimes, GMO foods, many ways. There are many ways. Even watching pornography, you can attach, receive entities through that, because now you're opening and consenting to that energy, and you're connecting their vibration, and at the moment so. But now for healing. What I found very efficient for healing, because I can only suggest the people that I really know and have experience. So AuroRa, and I'm training on this modality, and I will soon be offering this to people. But AuroRa, she created this. It's always like this hypnotherapy. We can say better, like aura hypnosis, and through that we can heal all of that is already in you. So you can heal that. She has trains many people, so she has a website, aurapractitioners.com, so you can find the different practitioners there. I'm getting certified, and this is what I know. I am a healer. I've been learning different modalities of healing, but I even, there were certain things I could do. But it wasn't that deep. It wasn't like that. And it was more on a higher self level, that the higher self, they were probably doing their things. But, and I've been on this path for a while. I've gone through a 40-year energy healing school, but now, so AuroRa is the only one I would recommend, and people trained by her, and I'm soon be sharing this as well. I even say to be really careful with who you go for hypnosis and any kind of healing in general, because you have to really know what the person is carrying with them. So I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
Yes, yeah. Mayara, and I think the majority of my clients that come to me have anywhere from 80 to 90% have sexual trauma. I'm not sure if you know that. 80 to 90% have had some kind of sexual molestation, rape, something happened to them when they were younger, or young teens, and so on. So this work that you're doing, talking about sacred sex, is actually one of the most important, because that is what is the most harvested, right? Through the pedophilia that is occurring, that's unmasking on Earth, through the, all of that is unmasking now. So it's really, this is the most important time for us to be shielding our sacral energy, because you also want to shield your womb and your creational energy, including for men. You want to shield your sperm, because it's the seed that provides birth, to the womb. So so if you think about the male sperm, that essence is a very important essence that they can also harvest, because you cannot typically, you in this form, definitely in the physical form, you cannot create unless you have that semen, that sperm, to the seed to birth out from. So it is. So thank you. I definitely recommend you, Mayara, and I love that you're learning the aura hypnosis, because that's something that you could provide, and your experience of the the sexual trauma of how these people, the majority of people have sexual trauma. So that's something, if anybody has that, you're talking about how to use sex in a organic way and a non-organic way. You're teaching people how to use it sacredly. So you have all this experience, and I think that's a beautiful combination put together to help whoever's going to come to you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and people, sometimes people has experience of being sexually abused, really sexually abused, that they were not consenting, and that way they know clearly, I was sexually abused. But there are many other occasions that happen. For example, how the majority of people have either entities, artificial AI, in them, or things like that are acting, that are controlling them in many ways, and they're not aware of it. So both females and males, women, men. So sometimes, when you're having sex like this, you don't know, because that's how they're sucking your creative energy. So even if you are consenting to have sex, that person maybe, you don't know what is happening on the energetic level, and how they are literally sucking in your energy. Even females, we see males, of course, they go seduce, but many females as well are addicted to seducing men, to sucking their energy, many females as well. So that can be happening as well, even when you're consenting having sex. So I always say to the males, not because a woman, because males, in the culture, they have that kind of culture, many cultures, if this woman is hot and she wants me, I'll go for it. No, be aware, it's not because a woman is hot and she wants you, you don't know what is working through her. And, so they can be just sucking in your creative energy, and also putting things in you, especially like if you're, most of you watching here, we're lights beings, and we have, a big purpose as far as like raising the frequency of this planet and helping with the ascension. So they want to stop us. They don't want to. So they want to put things on us to stop us from really doing what we're made to do. So we have to be very aware. Yeah.
I wanted to add to, thank you, Mayara. Beautiful. I wanted to add, someone's mentioning that, that this is also, they said, I've also always been skeptical of group meditations for that reason. Yeah, so there is the easiest way to attach people is through entering them into the theta brainwave. Now, whoever's leading that group meditation, whether it's 20, hundreds, or thousands with that group meditation, if that person is not a clear vessel and has some kind of infringements in them, then that would be a matching vibration to the group meditation that they're leading. So therefore, they can, again, just like that speaker I talked about, attach tentacles, attach things into you, because you're in the theta, you've consented, you're open. Once you're in the theta, you're in the quantum world, and things can attach if you're not setting those boundaries and the highest vibration of infinite love. So a lot of these people who lead guided meditations are actually quite compromised because, and they also go after people who talk about twin flames and all these different things, because again, that's like their favorite energy to feed off is sex and sacred energy. Mm-hmm. So just be more protective with yourself, protect your womb space, protect yourself, just like you would protect a beautiful infinite. Protect yourself like that. Honor, love yourself in that manner. And heart discern. Don't discern. Not confuse discernment for like mind discernment for heart discernment. No, this is completely different. Heart discernment. How does that feel for you? And feelings, heart will never lie to you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, where we can kind of close, because there was a question about discernment and something that is important. Because also one thing before we go into this discernment is the same thing like watching TV, right? Like, cause like we go as well, we relax and we go into the relaxed state of mind and we sit down, we just open to their mental programming and all that kind of things that they want to do with us, So now about discernment, because that's what I guess we need to learn is discernment. And so what do you have to say about it? Because I know I hear in some of your channelings, they say it has to feel good, look good, sound good, feel good. You have to discern in like many different ways. So how do you would help people with that discernment?
Yes. I think we often trick with discernment with false programming. We think that that's discernment, like you connect to someone, someone like, say, me or Mayara, that hold a very strong, pure, infinite love. Sometimes you can be repulsed by this if you have an entity in you. So then you have to question yourself. Am I truly hearing my heart? Or is the entity in me telling me that this person, don't talk to them, icky, because it's the entity in you, or the attachment or the implant that might be programming, making you repulse against people who hold strong infinite love. Because infinite love is actually what transmutes and eradicates archons. That's what infinite love does. So then learn how to hear your heart versus just always listening to your mind or whatever voice that might be negative, polarized, that is trying to sway you away from your most organic timeline and path. So it's not just because, we talk about this in our YouTube channel or even in the book. You can't just go by a person. Yeah, the person looks good. You can't just go by that. First of all, sight is an illusion. Within our physical eyes, that's an illusion. So you have to go with all your senses. Does this person smell good? Does this person feel good? Does this person sound good? Do they emanate infinite love is the number one thing, because if they're not emanating infinite love when they're communicating and you're not feeling a heart frequency, then that is the opposite of that in this universe, which would be a negative polarized entity or an archon talking through them. So that's how it has to match everything. All your senses, it has to match. They look really good, but something feels off. You need to figure out what that is that feels off. because that's how they download false programming in the spiritual community through the archons and negative polarized entities.
Yeah, the infinite love is something really important that I learned too. It's how if you can feel love, if you can feel their love emanating from them, because sometimes they are really saying, because for different people, entities, they may have information and knowledge, but there is also many times an agenda. That's what I think. That is like they can share many things that are true, to catch you and catch you to trust them. But then there is an agenda with part of the information that will take you on a whole, alternate path. So, but many times it's just very like the mind, and it's very cold. So you have to is that person emanating love? Do you feel love? And how do you feel as well? Because certain things you're not gonna feel good. Certain things, certain truths that we learn, it may be hard to swallow, but it's still I feel like a good teacher, they're not gonna only be dumping all the problems and all the negativity on you. They're also gonna be sharing with you how you empower yourself. So they may be sharing truths that would be hard to see, but they're also sharing solutions on how you empower yourself. And so it's not putting you in a place of fear and like, oh my gosh, I'm powerless. And especially if someone is not helping you to know how to empower yourself and not to be a follower, or is empower yourself. So one of the things, right, is that shielding every day really helps. And then your lifestyle, how you're taking care, what you put inside of your body, and then you start doing the work to open your third eye, and you do the healing that you need to remove anything that is not serving you, and it's a path, it's a journey, and it's a commitment, a lifetime commitment. Yeah.
It is a lifetime commitment to agree to be born into the 3D, the lowest dimension in the universe. Okay. Someone said, Sunny on chat, she said, wow, it's so difficult being in this human suit. That it is. It's difficult, but yet also very, once you start realizing these infringements that we talk about during this video and what we talk about on our YouTube channel, it also becomes very freeing and very sovereign, where you're like, nope, I recognize what you are. I understand your frequency because I remember it. And now I know what that frequency was. So no, I do not consent to use, which is something we strongly, and it empowers you, it ignites you, makes you become into this fierce being that is unstoppable and invincible. And that's what we're here to teach you, is so that you become this invincible being that you truly are from beyond in the stars. Thank you, Mayara. Thank you. It has been such a pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know there are many questions still, but I know there's so much we can go in one day. So I always like to go through the questions and maybe inspire me for another video or something. But thank you so much.
We'll save the questions, and then perhaps we'll do it in the future.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you so much too for coming and openly discussing all of this here with me. And I know our journey is just starting, because I'm taking 2 trainings with AuroRa. So
yes.
And I also, and I do have a Sacred Sexuality course, Sacred Sexuality 101 course, that guides us through personal healing, personal development, channeling our sexual energy into our purpose, and also learning skills of relationship, communication, and sacred sexuality practices with our partners. So it's a very complete course that I have available. All the links are below, so if you like to connect with AuroRa or me, all the links are in the description box below the video. Thank you so much, AuroRa, for being here, participating.
Thank you. I love you all. Honor you. Thank you. And respect you. Blessings to everyone. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Much love to you. And we'll be back.